أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم ففهمنا سليمان وكلنا آتينا حكما وعلما رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم سبحانك لما وحنانيك أنا لا تنسني ولا تنسني الحمد لله أفضل الحمد اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آله وسائر النبيين والصالحين وسلم أنا موفقني واهدني وسددني واجمع لي بين الصواب والثواب وعذني من الخطأ والهرمان آمين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back to our episodes of questions and answers. I know we've been away for the first 10 odd days, well, coming up to now nearly 2 weeks of Dhul Hijjah, because we were busy with the appeal on Qurbani, explaining the whole process of Qurbani to you, also explaining the ritual acts of Hajj. So I pray that those of you who've been for your Hajj, may Allah accept it from you, and those who haven't, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala take you there. With regards to Qurbani, I hope that you heeded our advice and went ahead and did the Qurbani, and maybe you're already or continuing to enjoy the meat of Qurbani. So we're back again with our questions and answers. Normal things, let me just repeat for those who aren't used to the format. The phone number is 01274 214 299. That's 01274 214299. You call in with your questions, your queries, your suggestions, and then I will try as best to enlighten you, as the phrase goes, with what I have learned over the years, inshallah. Similarly, you can email on qa@iqra.tv. That's QANDA@iqra.tv. So that said, we've got plenty of questions to go through on our little forum, as I've not really been answering questions, waiting for today. But precedence is the phones. So again, let me remind you, 01274 214299, because I was slightly delayed getting here. Then they're quite short sessions, so please don't wait to think that you'll get some time. Before you know it, time will go. And time is always going, you know. When I sat down here just now, I was thinking, subhanAllah, tomorrow's Thursday again. And I literally, honestly, this is no joke, I literally remember last Thursday. Literally, as though it happened yesterday or the day before. So time is ever going quickly. Anyway, let's get back to some questions on here. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Many masajid do an English talk on the day of Eid before the Salah. They do this presumably to avoid speaking in English for the Arabic khutbah. There's a narration speaking of Marwan ibn Hakam being the first to do the khutbah before the Salah. Will doing an English lecture before the Salah fall under this reprehensible act? Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It is believed that this will not fall under the reprehensible act, because this is not necessarily a khutbah. This is more waiting for the Jamaat to increase or for the time of Salah to start. So to take advantage of people who have attended, there is an opportunity to teach the manner in which Eid Salah is performed, maybe remind the congregation of their responsibilities of Qurbani and things of that effect. So there's no harm in doing that, as it is not a khutbah. Assalamu alaikum. In Leicester, Pakistani masjid follow Morocco. Do I have to go there for Eid Salah? Because our local masjid all follow Saudi for Eid al-Adha. Also, it's on a different day. I think that's been answered already. So let's go to this. Assalamu alaikum, Mufti Sahib. I hope you are well and in a brilliant state of Iman. That's a nice start to a message. I have a few queries and wanted to post them all at once, but thought I'd give them separately so each question can be viewed by others individually. Without further ado, I will begin with my first. It is regarding the redistribution of haram food. Sometimes people do these collections for food items which are being given away. A person will go and pick up large quantities of food items which they then redistribute for free to others, with the main purpose being to avoid food wastage. Sometimes there will be haram food items too, example chicken wraps, beef sausages. They too need to be given out. Obviously non-Muslims will pick them up. The question is it allowed to include those items in the redistribution because they are haram for you? Or is this case, do you bin those items and make sure nobody consumes them? Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I've had this question posed to me a few times due to the fact that now that they are places like, you know, supermarkets which give food away, and there are lots of places which are food banks or soup kitchens that then give to the poor or the hungry. And the answer is that because your purpose is to pick up the food and bring it to the food bank, so you are in essence a delivery driver, you are in essence picking that up and bringing it, then there is no harm in it, even if there is some items in there which would be impermissible to consume. As for you redistributing it, you're going to place it in your whatever it might be, warehouse or your soup kitchen or your food bank, and if somebody came to collect it from there themselves, obviously a non-Muslim, then again you're not partaking in that particular activity. Reason I give this on a very a position as such, because it's very difficult to not get them in the first place. If there is a possibility for you to actually tell your the ones you pick your food up from that, look, we will only take vegetarian food, then that's fine. That's a better position. But because in most cases that's not possible for you to be so specific, then at least there is this position to adopt in case of these difficult circumstances. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. A person buys X amount of books, so now we're going into algebra. A person buys X amount of books, example, qaidas, from a retailer. The retailer offers a generous discount as the buyer says it's for maktab use. When the books come into the possession of the buyer, is he restricted to only sell or give for free to maktab students, or can he sell it to others not in the maktab also, since the discounted price was given for maktab use only? Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Technically speaking, when a person has bought an item, it belongs to him. So therefore, he can do as he chooses to do with it. However, as this question is saying that the person is actually buying for the maktab, he's not buying for himself. So the maktab becomes the owner of those books. Now, if the maktab decides to sell them, that's a different matter altogether. Because the retailer has given discount, he has given discount to the maktab. The maktab is the owner of the books now. The maktab is obviously a maktab is a non-human entity, so it means it's trustees, it's because it will have a legal identity, the maktab, whether it's a charity or whether it's whatever it might be a non-profit organization or whatever it is, then it becomes the owners of those books. Now, it can choose to do what it likes. It can sell those maktab books to its own students for a higher price than it obtained them for. Or it could give them to the, it could sell them in order to generate funds. Or if the retailer has actually given items as waqf to the maktab, then obviously the maktab can no longer sell them because they're there as waqf. They want them to be used in that maktab. So it needs to be obviously a lot more elaborated detail on that particular question, but I've given as many scenarios as possible whilst thinking on my feet to hopefully resolve that query. So just to remind you, ladies and gentlemen, the phone number 01274 214299. That's for your questions and answers. I don't know where the little clock has disappeared to, so I'm not sure how long we have for this first session, but I'm sure once I've said that it will appear somewhere and I will have a better idea. In the meantime, I will carry on with some more questions on here. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. If a brother wants to get to know a potential spouse better, is it enough that his sister is present during the meeting between him and the girl, or does there have to be a mahram present? Is it allowed for the boy to give the girl compliments for her intellect, beauty, etc., just to relax the girl if she's too nervous, excited? She's too nervous, fair enough, too excited? Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. When it comes to getting to know a potential spouse, then there is a limit of how much you can get to know somebody. Reason being is, I know that nowadays it's difficult times and people don't want to risk getting into a marriage which could be potentially with somebody that they don't really get on with, and it proves that the relationship is then becomes difficult. However, there is a limit to how much you can get to know somebody, because then you start to generate feelings, anything can happen, and also people start to look at this relationship as though it is now a kind of boyfriend-girlfriend relationship, as now affection is growing for this person. In our Sharia and in the way our society and norms are, that the girl and the boy do meet, yes, in order mainly to look at the physical attraction. That's all. That physically, does this person look attractive to me? That's it. Not to stare at this person for hours and hours and try to compare them to, whatever. It's just as that first instance glance that, look, yes, she is attractive. I do not find her ugly, or he is attractive. I do not find him ugly. That's it. No matter how long you talk for, you know yourself that when you meet somebody, you put on all the airs and graces. You don't show your true colors. That's the reality. Very few people are confident and outgoing enough to show you their real face. Especially a couple, the boy or the man is going to always speak well about himself, and the woman is going to speak well about herself. You're not going to see the anger that the man has. You're not going to see the lying that the woman might do. That only happens when you've spent days and weeks and months together. In fact, if you look at the narration attributed to Sayyidina Umar ibn Khattab, that you only truly know a person when you do business with them, when you travel with them, and I forget the third, but I think it's probably when you live with somebody, or words similar to that. Meaning you can only really know a person once you've spent some intimate time when their guard is dropped. Their guard will not be dropped in front of you. So really, there is no need for long-winded conversations. Really, it's a case, and if there are parents involved, then the parents should have already done the dini side of her. What is her background? How religious is she? Does she pray? Does she not pray? Whatever. Really, these are sort of general questions that, even like, for example, I know many people who've met, they've asked each other questions like, do you want to have children? And the girl or the boy says, or the man or the lady says yes. And when they get married, then the lady says, well, I don't want to have children now. I want to carry on with my career. So really, it doesn't mean anything. It's just a physical assessment. That's all it is. And that physical assessment can be made almost immediately. Like I said, you don't need to stare at a person. And you know that, fine, this person is somebody who I can live with. And when it comes, you can maybe ask general questions. What's the mindset of this person? Are they career-minded? Are they not? What they want to do? And we do tell potential spouses that be honest in this meeting. Why? Because at least then the other person knows what they're getting themselves into. No point saying what they want to hear, okay? Because that's not going to work in a long-term relationship. So I hope that answers the question. So no, you cannot meet with anybody else there except the mahram. And no, you should not really be complimenting the young girl. And no, we shouldn't be spending too much time. One instant, maybe if something comes up in that first meeting which you're unsure about and you want to follow it up, maybe a second meeting, but nothing else beyond that. So where have we got to? We've got to, because that just jumped all the way. So let's go back to that one. All right, so alhamdulillah. So that's a fair few questions already answered. I'm conscious of time, 2 minutes to go, so don't call in now. Let me see if I can get this last question done. Assalamu alaikum. Whilst praying, I don't like to move with my clothes or hat sometimes. The hat can cover parts of the forehead if I do sajda in space. Is this sajda valid? Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. As long as you can feel the ground from under through your hat, probably the hat will be thin enough. Remember, most places unfortunately now have soft, cushiony carpet, which can also be too soft for you not to feel the ground. You've got to feel the firmness of the ground. That's the key issue, on your forehead, on your hands, on your knees, and on your feet. Then that will suffice, which I am assuming in most cases, even if you did on your hat, it would be valid. But obviously there's nothing wrong in putting your hat on properly the first time now when you start your prayer to avoid it coming forward. I cannot see it coming forward once you've placed your hat on your head. So that, my dear brothers and sisters, covers significant number of the questions. I still have many more on this forum. But I'd like to hear from you. I know this is our unusual slot now, and I know we've got used to not calling in between 7 and 8 for a couple of weeks now, so you may not be expecting this show to have come live today, so it might have come as a surprise. But anyway, inshallah, we're back. So call in. If not, tomorrow, inshallah, and Friday, we're back to our normal shift. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Monafaz Dasha, I think, is going to be coming in from next week, Monday, Tuesday. So we're here. We're ready to serve. Inshallah, please do give us a call. Don't call now, though, because we're going to go for a break. But when we return from the break, you are more than welcome to give us a call, just to confirm that this is live and you can actually call in and speak to us. I, in the time being, whilst waiting for you, will deal with some more questions on the forum, as there are plenty on there, for the very reason that I've not been answering questions as well since the Dhul Hijjah started, unless they were very urgent. And now, obviously, the fact that we are now here, I can deal with those questions. So see you shortly after the break. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.